Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Tax. Today is going to be a second episode of Road to 3 Marks for the Object 140. For this game, I was on Kharkov, and I think I played it pretty well. So let's go check it out. Alright, like I said, this game was on Kharkov, and the first thing I noticed when I was looking at the lineups is that I'm top tier by a large margin. Right, so most of the tanks I'm shooting at are going to be tier 8. And additionally, that means my armor is actually viable. Now, nowadays with the gold spam and whatnot, the 140's armor really isn't reliable at tier 10. You'll get people defending the front of your turret, the roof of your turret, and whatever, but at tier 8, it is, well, not completely, but it's more reliable. So what that allows me to do is actually play the city. With most of my mediums on this map, I'll go to the 1-2 line, which allows me to play safe for the first part of the game and then get my damage at the end. But because I'm basically a heavy tank with really high DPM in this game, I can go to the city, which is what I do. And most of the HP on their team is going to go to the city. That's another thing to keep in mind when you're marking tanks, is where their HP is going to go, because you need damage, obviously. So the city is going to be where I can get more damage. But I want to get to right here, which is where I'm going to go, because I can get hauled down there and use my newly reliable turret armor, or unusually reliable turret armor in this match. So that's what I'm going to do. And my DPM is also much more effective against tier 8s because they have so many less hit points. I can get them out of the game extremely quickly. So right here, I'm expecting people to poke here, and also the TDs back in these bushes I need to be careful of. Now nobody does it immediately, which allows me to push up with this guy. I kind of use him for cover here, but he runs me into the wall, so I guess I get what I deserve for that. It's not a big deal though. We cross, and again, I want to get to this mound right here so I can get hauled down right on top of it where they are. And right here, I use my third-person camera to look around the corner before I drive. And this is a good tactic to use because you can see if there's anybody who might get shot on you if you cross, which there's not. You can see the tortoise is blocked by the barricade over there. So I can get to this position and get hauled down. I can get one shot and hit him. I am expecting there to be TDs and whatnot back here. This one's a little bit of a risky play. I only get hit by the Carnarvon right here for 140 damage, so that's not a big deal. But as you'll see, there's a Ferdinand there too. So I could have been hit by him. I snapshot around into him there. I'm not. I see he gets hit for half his health and falls back behind this building. And I'm not expecting him to come back out immediately. He just got clicked as well. So I decided to take one more risk and try to get this guy out of the game. Unfortunately, I low roll quite a bit there, and I do take another round from the Carnarvon. I'm not too mad about that, as it's only 162 damage, so it is what it is with that. But I don't want to play this angle anymore because I'm expecting the Ferdinand to have come back by now, and I don't want to take a 500 damage shot from him. So now I'm going to see if I can get side shots on the guys back here. My spotting range is quite good, so I'm pretty confident I can spot at least one of them here. You can see I'm using the camera to look around the corner. There's the Carnarvon. I actually didn't spot him, but I get a shot into him anyway. And you can see my Renegade just died, who was my rear cover. And now you can see this tortoise is pushing me, and I immediately start to run because I don't want to be trapped in a corridor with a full health tortoise with the amazing DPM they have. So I get out of there as fast as I can. I'm lucky that one tracked him, but I think I would have gotten out even if it hadn't hit. So I fall back one lane. I'm looking at the map and I see that there's not really any developments on the 1-2 line. So that's not a concern right now. You know, everyone's just camping there like usual. And now I'm trying to figure out where I can get damage. So I decide to poke out here a little bit. I spot their tortoise. I get around into him. It bounces, unfortunately, but he doesn't hit me, so it's not a big deal. And now I kind of want to get this guy out of the game because it's a very dangerous tank with the high DPM it has. You can see he looks away from me. That allows me to get a shot into him. I am loading heat now for the thick, flat armor like the tortoise has. and now he's just kind of camping my corner. So I'm not going to be able to poke again. But now I'm looking at the map, and I'm seeing that all my allies in front of me have died. So I'm now the farthest out, which puts me into a situation where they could flank both sides and put me into a crossfire. And it doesn't matter how good you are at the game, if you're in a bad crossfire, you're going to die. So, not always, but most of the time. So I need to get out, right? I see that this could become a crossfire, so I need to get out. Now, a lot of people have a problem with running. They think it's cowardly or whatever, but this is a video game, not real life. So the best way to maximize your damage potential is to stay alive. So that's what I do. I run. It's a very, very useful tactic, and use it. If you use it effectively, it keeps you alive longer and increases your damage over the game. So right now, I'm planning on going back to base. I see that my allies on the one line have died, which means that they're probably going to push this side of the map. This LH MTV on the base is not a big deal. I'm expecting him to die, but I do want to go back and kind of reinforce for when these guys push. However, I see an opportunity to hit the tortoise. I still have heat loaded. I'm lucky this one actually goes in, but it does. Because he's looking at me, but then he decides to turn away. I try to get another shot, and it doesn't work out. And now, instead of going back to base, I see an opportunity here. You can see my allies actually pushed up too far, in my opinion, but they did. And their heavies are going to try to flank them. And what that allows me to do is if I get back to my original position here, I can get hauled down and put side shots into these heavies, which allows me to use my extremely high DPM, and I can pretty much just evaporate these guys out of the game, which I do. And this is kind of where the game turns around, in my opinion. It's 4-8 right now, which is not a great score. But because I can put these guys into a crossfire, you can see this is kind of the crossfire that I didn't want to be in myself, which is why I ran before. TS5 kills the Ferdinand, so good job to him. And now I can kind of focus down these two guys who are not looking at me. So I can just sit here and put shots in them, which I do. This is just me shooting at him at this point. One more shot into him, and now I feel that I can push because he's falling back. Our AMX decides to YOLO him, which works out. You can see he dies right there. And that's the Object 257 in the game, which is excellent. Now, I decided I need to deal with this tortoise because, like I said, this is a very dangerous tank. And you can hear he just fired right there. So I feel safe to just YOLO him with my DPM and track him and get behind him. And now he's out of the game because he has no turret. So this is another important part of this game, was getting this guy out because, like I said twice already, it's a very, very dangerous tank, and you definitely want these out of the game if they're not on your team. So that's what I do. Get behind him, take him out. I look for a shot on the Barask. That doesn't work out. And now it's time to go back to base because you can see they have pushed up. And I tell my team that. So I start to immediately go back to defend the base. The game's evened up now, so there's a much bigger chance of winning than there was even a couple minutes ago. Up to 4.6k damage, that's a good game in and of itself, but I'd like to get more. You can see this Progetto, I spot him, and rather than continuing to go forward, he actually backs up, which allows me to get another shot into him. If you get caught in the open like this guy did, it's usually better to continue going forward where you're faster and you can get out quicker than to stop and back up, because that negates a lot of your momentum and can usually, not always, but it often leads to you getting shot a second time. And now we're actually winning the game, so we've turned this around. But I still can throw the game, and I really don't want to do that. So I am not going to just drive across this open field with people on the hill and this Progetto who can shoot at me. But I do need more damage from my mark. So you can see I'm contemplating going across this field. I don't do it, thank goodness. I decided to go the safer route, where there's actually some hard cover. So my team's pushing through their base. I'm expecting them to deal with the clickers, so I'm not too worried about clickers right now. But I do want to clear these guys out of the base and get the damage I can. So my plan right now is to go down the trench that this Progetto went down, kind of follow him down the K line. But I spot this pattern here, and I realize that I can use these buildings for cover. They're tall enough that I can take cover from the hill in them, with them, excuse me. But I don't really care. I have a lot of HP left. I don't really care that he hit me, that is. I have a lot of HP left, that's the great thing about saving your HP to the end of the game, is you can just YOLO into them, who are most likely low health, who have been fighting all game, which is exactly what this pattern is doing, or has been doing. So he's a 2-shot for me, and I'm a 3+ shot for him. So I feel comfortable just pushing into him like this. Get 1 shot into him, get the track. He's now a 1-shot. He high rolled there, so I'm realistically a 2-shot for him, which is fine. I can beat his reload by about a second, so I'm comfortable just taking him out. And that's more or less the game. I get a couple more shots. I get to kill this clicker, which is a lot of fun. It's always fun to kill clickers. Click it and try to run. And then at the very end of the game, I invite this guy to a platoon, and he takes it, so that gets us the Brothers in Arms medal. But yeah, that was a 6.6k damage game. Almost 6,600, excuse me, spotting, and 4 kills. So yep, let's go take a look at the end plates. Alright, so here's the end plates. That was an ace tanker. I got Brothers in Arms at the very end of the battle, and a high caliber. And it was 6.6k damage, 4 kills, 1185 base XP, which is good. That's what got me the ace. And I only lost 6,000 credits. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks a lot for watching. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or whatever, leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to respond. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.